Egypt, a country celebrated for its ancient wonders, like the pyramids and the Sphinx, is now attempting something just as monumental, though this time in the 21st century. In the scorching desert 45 kilometers east of Cairo, a glittering new city is rising. Officially named the new administrative capital, this massive project is designed to be Egypt's new seat of government. It's one of the boldest urban experiments in modern history, but also one of the most controversial. Why is a country with a struggling economy and widespread poverty pouring billions into an ultra-modern megacity? Is this the visionary leap toward the future it claims to be, or a vanity project masking more concerning motives? Let's explore the ambitious scale, strategic purpose, and unsettling implications behind Egypt's grand new capital, a city in the sand. What is the new administrative capital? The new administrative capital, often referred to as the New Cairo, is a vast desert megacity under construction east of Cairo, covering an area roughly the size of Singapore. Launched in 2016, the city is designed to eventually house 6 to 12 million people, up to a quarter of Cairo's current population, and aims to relieve congestion in the capital while establishing a new administrative and political hub. The ambitious blueprint features Africa's largest mosque, an Olympic-scale sports city, the iconic tower, the tallest building on the continent, as well as new government headquarters, ministries, parliament, and an extravagant presidential palace. Ultimately, the new administrative capital is envisioned as the future nerve center of Egypt's government and a symbol of modern urban ambition rising from the sand. Why not just fix Cairo? To grasp why Egypt is pouring resources into the new administrative capital instead of fixing Cairo, it's crucial to look at the capital's dire realities. With over 23 million residents, Cairo is among the most densely populated cities in the world, beset by chronic housing shortages, sprawling informal settlements, unbearable traffic, dangerous air pollution, and decaying infrastructure. Years of declining public investment in affordable housing have left many low-income Egyptians living in unsafe, overcrowded conditions with little legal protection. The recent arrival of refugees from conflict zones like Sudan has only compounded the pressure on the city's overstretched systems. In response, the government launched Egypt Vision 2030, a sweeping national development plan led by President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The new administrative capital is a flagship project of this vision, intended to decongest Cairo by creating new, planned urban centers with modern infrastructure and improved quality of life. But while the new administrative capital promises a fresh start, it also raises tough questions. Can such mega-projects truly solve Cairo's deep-rooted problems? Or do they risk diverting attention and funds from the urgent need to revitalize the existing city where millions still struggle? Egypt's track record with desert cities. This is not Egypt's first attempt to decentralize Cairo. Over the past 4 decades, the country has constructed numerous desert cities with the same intention, yet many have fallen short. Take Sadat City, developed in the late 1970s under President Anwar Sadat. It was envisioned as a thriving alternative capital between Cairo and Alexandria. Today, it houses only around 80,000 residents, a tiny fraction of what was planned. Then there's Sheikh Zayed City, which quickly evolved into a luxury enclave for the wealthy, effectively shutting out middle and low-income Egyptians. If history is any guide, the new administrative capital may follow suit, more of a luxury fortress than a livable city for the masses. Who is the new administrative capital really for? While officials continue to market the new administrative capital as a solution to urban chaos and a beacon of modernization, its design tells a different story. The layout is highly strategic. On the western side, closest to Cairo, there are residential areas and businesses, but at the far eastern end, deliberately distanced, lie government buildings, ministries, and the new presidential palace. These zones are connected by 16-lane highways, effectively isolating the ruling class from the general population. Also under construction is the Octagon, a sprawling headquarters for the Ministry of Defense, larger than the Pentagon in the U.S. nearby. Military complexes and surveillance centers are rapidly being built. Visitors and urban planners have pointed out that the new administrative capital is not walkable, and it's clearly designed for cars and convoys. Public accessibility was not a priority. This highly compartmentalized structure appears to serve control and security more than civic convenience. In short, it doesn't look like a city for Egyptians. It looks like a city for the state. Who's paying and profiting? Building Egypt's new administrative capital comes with a staggering price tag over $58 billion, and the financing structure reveals a deeper story of power and profit. The project is being funded by the state-owned Administrative Capital for Urban Development, which is 51% owned by the Egyptian military and 49% by the Ministry of Housing. While officials assert that no public funds are being used, the military's dominant stake means it's not just overseeing construction, it's also reaping the financial rewards. This includes selling luxury apartments, leasing space in new government buildings, and profiting from the repurposing of vacated assets in Old Cairo. What's more, all of this unfolds with little to no civilian oversight. Since the early 2010s, Egypt's military has operated with near-total financial independence, its budget shrouded in secrecy and shielded from meaningful parliamentary review. The NAC, then, is not just a city-building exercise, it's a strategic investment by Egypt's most powerful institution. Is this about preventing future uprisings? To grasp the political motive behind the NAC, one must revisit Egypt's recent history. In 2011, Tahrir Square in central Cairo became the epicenter of a nationwide revolution that ousted longtime dictator Hosni Mubarak. Just 2 years later, more mass protests led to the removal of President Mohamed Morsi, this time by the military, under then General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Since becoming president, el-Sisi has systematically tightened control over Cairo's symbolic and administrative core. Tahrir Square is now lined with towering statues and military checkpoints. Public demonstrations are virtually impossible. By moving all branches of government 45 kilometers away, the state is making large-scale protest logistically more difficult. The new administrative capital, outfitted with 6,000 surveillance cameras and smart monitoring systems, is being built as a fortress of governance, removed from public unrest. This mirrors a precedent seen in Myanmar, where the military moved the capital to Naypyidaw, a purpose-built city designed to make civil uprisings harder to organize. That city remains eerily empty and heavily fortified. Can Egypt afford this grand vision? While the Egyptian government promotes the new administrative capital as self-financed through land sales and private investment, the reality is more complex and more precarious. Much of the funding stems from state-backed loans and foreign borrowing, adding to Egypt's already strained economy. The Egyptian pound has lost significant value, inflation is surging, national debt is mounting, and over 60% of the population lives at or near the poverty line. Despite this, around 100,000 housing units have been constructed in the new administrative capital, and some government offices and businesses have started relocating. Yet with apartment prices around $50,000, nearly 17 times the average Egyptian's annual income of about $3,000, the city is financially out of reach for most citizens. President el-Sisi maintains that the new administrative capital will eventually pay for itself, but critics argue it risks becoming a gated enclave for the elite, disconnected from the realities of a nation where the majority still grapple with deteriorating infrastructure, poverty, and inequality in Old Cairo. Where do we go from here? Phase 1 of the new administrative capital is reportedly nearing completion, with a new opera house, museums, and theaters already built. Roughly 70% of its industrial zone has been sold to investors, and Phase 2 is expected to be completed by 2027. 2 more phases are planned, but details remain vague. For now, only about 5,000 families reside in the city. Authorities hope this will double by the end of 2025. but it remains unclear whether demand exists for such high-priced real estate in a country gripped by economic hardship. Will it work? Egypt's new administrative capital is a tale of ambition, control, and contradiction. On one hand, it represents a bold step toward modernization and smart urban planning. On the other, it's a gleaming monument to inequality, more fortress than metropolis, more showcase than solution. If successful, the new administrative capital could become a new model for urban development across the Middle East. If it fails, it risks becoming a billion-dollar ghost town, echoing through the desert as a warning about putting political control over public welfare. For now, Egypt's most expensive city remains half-built and half-inhabited, its future uncertain, its purpose hotly debated. And that's a wrap on Egypt's billion-dollar mystery in the desert. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the world's most ambitious and controversial megaprojects, make sure to smash that like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.